Welcome back to Nerdrotic. My name is Gary Beekler. I am live in San Francisco, California, and it is time for the Nerdrotic Nooner for Monday. Greetings, everybody. How's it going? Quite a weekend we had, didn't we? Since Thursday night when Star Trek Discovery aired, and then afterwards, a couple of us dropped a couple of videos related to that show, and a bomb was dropped on Canon. Or maybe just the truth was revealed. We're not sure. Does it matter to some? Does it not matter to some? I don't know. We'll get into it. But first, let's get to the chat. What's up? Yes. And we also have some other news. Counterpart has been canceled. We saw it coming. And yeah, so I've got thoughts, particularly when it how it concerns Starz, the Starz network. I got a few words for them. We also have some interesting news of our little buddy Howard the Duck here, right here. Yeah, it looks like an animated Howard the Duck is coming to Hulu, which is interesting. Very interesting. So greetings, everybody. We've got Silhouette and Animator, Bird of Prey, Trinoculus P, KSS, Halam 899, Thundercats Ho, Pineal Augmentation, Lone Angler, Thanos 43 Infinity, It's a Trap Productions, fake account. Hey, that's what I've been accused of being sometimes. Heather, oh, don't do that now on me. Jaded Fett, how's it going? David McBride, Josh and Rebecca Momini. Wow, that's cute. You both have like your own account. I like that. Josh Webb, Brent Newman. Okay. And Sci-Fi Geek, what's up? We're ready to go. Sorry, this is late. Okay, I had to get a haircut. So Exozone, we had a great Exozone last night. Had the best time. It ran a little late, and then I was informed about 3/4 of the way through the show via message, even though Mrs. Nerdrotic's 2 rooms over. She didn't want to disturb the show, so she shot me a message that I had to get up at 5:30 in the morning to get a haircut. So we dropped Junior off at school, did the haircut thing, went to the gym. I was hoping to get like a little power nap in. Didn't happen. So I'm a little sleep deprived. This should be interesting. Thank you very much. Hey, Gary, love your work. Hey, I appreciate that. That's great. That's great. Yes. So a very interesting article came out on trekmovie.com. Now, I can't really call them shills because they're all they talk about is Trek. So it's like a fan site. So I'm not going to call them shills, but maybe they had this thing in the can and ready to go. But it's an article concerning the Picard series. And as we know, after the Midnight's Edge video, which again, I'll link in the description. I linked it in the description of my last video, and you can always go to their channel and see they did a very long, well done documentary kind of breaking down the evidence that Star Trek canon is indeed dead, the one that we all know and love, and they have created a funky kind of new canon that's kind of an offshoot of the Kelvin universe for lots of reasons. It gives Bad Reboot a chance to stay in the game. It also has something to do with licensing and merchandising. And I've had some people come at me about merchandising. I don't know a lot, but one thing I know is merchandising. I owned a comic shop for 10 years. I sold Star Trek stuff and Doctor Who stuff for a decade. So I know a little bit about it. Okay. And I know what sells and what doesn't. And Star Trek has always been a very consistent seller, but it's never, ever going to be a bestseller, like up in the Star Wars realm. But it could be. At one time it was, in the 90s, those action figures, the Playmate ones, I got some on my wall. As bad as they were, they sold like crazy. So and they made them a lot of money, made Paramount a lot of money. So they still see that there, and Star Trek could still be a billion-dollar franchise if in the right hands, which it is not right now. And especially when they're trying to muddy the waters and basically lie to fans. That's a great way to build a relationship. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Astaroth, hail Gary. So if this entire identity crisis is over, writes Canon Prime Kelvin, like fan attacks, what is the road for redemption for CBS then? Redstone is going to have to take over. and they're going to have to they have to bring it back home. They can't have this split license anymore. So they need one Star Trek. Star Trek is definitely not big enough to split up. It doesn't work. We've seen it. You can't recast characters. It's a gimmick that works once. It's not going to work again. So the road to redemption would be hiring a veteran Star Trek writer to head your show. Then you can bring in new people and because you have that veteran Star Trek writer there who knows Star Trek through and through, knows what Captain Kirk ate for his first breakfast, even though it probably wasn't mentioned in the series, but they know. Something like that. And Road to Redemption would be treating fans better too, and not trying to mislead them with fake canons and expect Star Trek fans to put up with this crap. I mean, like, you tried to pull this on Star Trek fans, you know. I mean, I don't mean to put other fandoms down, but Star Trek fans are one of the most particular fandoms, if not the most particular fandom out there. So good luck with that. That's all I've got to say is good luck with that. Nice try. Yes, I didn't let her touch the beard today. I'm going to have the beard continue to grow. Artemis over easy. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, it's nice to be doing the Nooner. I was kind of chomping at the bit to get on it today. And we will get to the chat in a second. I will read this article for you because the timing was just interesting. It looks long enough like it was in the can, so I'm not going to say it was from any certain videos, but it's a very misleading article. I'll tell you that. We get accused here of clickbait, and hey, you know, it's YouTube. That's the game. You know, don't hate the play. I hate the game. Yeah, I'm bummed about Counterpart. Aka Blonded, aka Blonded. Is that how it is? AKA Blonded. Yeah, I'm bummed about it, but I have words for Starz. They're trying to shop it around, so we'll see if it gets shopped around. But what the hell? I'll pull this article up right now while people are strolling in. Let's go, and we will read this. And of course, it's from Trek Movie. Trek Movie. Here we go. Old man Gary's got to blow this up a little bit so I can read it. There we go. Here we go. Patrick Stewart says Star Trek Picard series has a title and specifies year setting. Now, this is based on the video I found, which was kind of old. And Picard, it was Patrick Stewart doing an interview. He's on the interview rounds for the kid who would be king, or, you know, whatever, the King Arthur kid thing, which actually looks kind of like a cool movie. Sir Patrick Stewart has been doing more publicity for his new movie, oh, there it goes, The Kid Who Would Be King, and talking more about his upcoming return to Star Trek as Jean-Luc Picard. Along the way, we have gathered some highlights from the most recent appearances. Now, remember, the title, the headline says it has a title. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder what the title is. Are they going to announce the title? The show has a title, and it's being written by brilliant minds. That is the quote from Jean-Luc Picard. One of those brilliant minds is Akiva Goldsman. Appearing on ITV's This Morning in the UK, Stewart talked about the secrecy around the show. We are trying, and this was in my video, we are trying to keep it under covers as much as possible, because that, we hope, will entice people to tune in and watch it, and then get taken up in the new world that the next generation is now inhabiting. Again, that could be nothing. It could be just, we're changing the show. It's going to look different because it's 20 years later, blah, blah, blah. Or it could be weird corporate speak, so you're not technically lying. I don't know. I'm not going to accuse Sir Patrick Stewart of lying. I have way too much respect for him for that, so I would not do that. And speaking to Ireland's RTE, Stewart brought it up again, revealing there is something important they're holding back. I can't even tell you the title of the series. All these things are banned. So they wrote an article that said title, and they just told us that it has a title. Breaking news, everybody, breaking news. The Star Trek Picard series will actually have a title. It won't be one of the first TV shows ever put on television without a title. We were kind of hoping that, but it's not going to happen, folks. Stewart did confirm the previous reports that the show would be shot in California and not in Toronto, where Star Trek Discovery is filmed. that's interesting. And spoke more about the creative team, which that means it's going to be more expensive, which means does CBS have more money, or are they going to be saving money in the near future? More on that later. I can tell you we are shooting in California and we have some brilliant people working on this show. The writer's room is filled with brilliant minds. This morning, the novel I began to read is by one of the principal writers, Michael Chabon, who is a Pulitzer Prize winning author, and he is helping write the new show. Cavalier and Clay's good book. In addition to Kurtzman and Chabon, the creative team for the Picard series includes Oscar winner Akiva Goldsman, which just goes to show you Oscars are worthless. Also, consulting producer on Star Trek Discovery. Emmy nominees James Duff, co-writer of The Closer, who joined Discovery as an executive producer later in the second season, and Christian Bayer, executive producer, editor of Discovery, and a Star Trek novelist. Stewart talks up being executive producer and gives a new specific time setting. Appearing on BBC's The Graham Norton Show, Stewart talked about how he is doing something new for the Picard series. I can't quite fully take it on board because I am not only reviving Jean-Luc Picard, but I'm also co-executive producer, which I have never done before. During the same segment, Stewart gave a slightly different assessment as to the setting of the series. We are reviving a Picard story. It is exactly 19 years in the future, which is how time has passed since the last time I put on my spacesuit. I mean, for the television series. Well, it's been a little longer than that. It's been 25 years, but who's counting? This time setting for the new show actually differs than that has been stated in other interviews and his original announcement. When Patrick Stewart said that the show takes place 20 years after the film Star Trek Nemesis, which is probably what he meant. I mean, come on, he's in his 80s. He's not keeping track of this stuff, and it's okay. Which was set in the year 2379. If the show is now set 19 years after Star Trek The Next Generation television series finale, all good things, that would put it in 2389, or only 10 years after the events of Nemesis. If the show was set 20 years after Nemesis, blah, 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 who cares? Yeah, I think he just made a mistake. I think it's 20 years after Nemesis. Okay, that's my feeling. Excited to return as Jean-Luc Picard. Show reflects today on ITV's this morning. Patrick Stewart talked about what it took to get him to say yes to returning. I never believed this would or could have happened because there has been numerous ideas and offers to bring the character or the series back in some way. And I've always had to say no to that in the past. I am proud of what we did, but it is not going to get revived. Certainly not in the shape of Patrick Stewart. Then I met with the producers of this and these wonderful, clever people they had for this, and it's quite different from The Next Generation. It is 20 years on, which is exactly how much time has passed since we wrapped the series in Los Angeles, which every day that goes by is as production draws near, I get more and more excited. Okay. So who cares about I'm not worried about the inconsistencies with the Nemesis and stuff. I mean, he's just a guy on a million interviews. He's probably tired. In one of these interviews, they handed him some honey and he's eating, and he's got food flying out of his mouth while he's answering, which is pretty funny. I love Patrick Stewart. There's nothing wrong. I can't, I don't, honestly, you do want the show to be different. If they're going to revive the character, you want to do something different, but not in the Alex Kurtzman bad reboot different sense. They're different is we're going to throw some shiny things at you, and we're going to make it look really sleek, and it's going to be hollow and empty because we're you know what? It's almost like they're a post-production team that decided to start writing stories. They weren't writers first. They're really good at the, sets and the ships. And, you take away the lens flares and those sets will probably look pretty good in a normal sci-fi show, but it doesn't really fit in Star Trek. Now, knowing what the licensing is, this is a different Picard. This is a Picard from Star Trek Countdown, which is in the Prime canon, which is not, Midnight's Edge pointed it out when Van Sitters put out a tweet. I'm paraphrasing here. Wouldn't it be cool if all the Star Trek universes counted? which listen, that's a message. Nobody puts that tweet out. No, he's not like standing in line for a latte and going, "Oh, I'm just going to." Every tweet from these people is calculated, calculated to get attention, do whatever, especially when you are in the role of consulting for Star Trek now. And who knows, maybe he's taking over for Kurtzman. I don't know. And what's up? Thank you very much. Tamrocks, a Picard series without an appearance of the other TNG crew? Count me out. Sounds like Tim Allen's character in Galaxy Quest, right? That's funny. Does he need to do this? That's the thing, is like, why does Sir Patrick Stewart doesn't need to do this? They must have just paid him a crap ton of money. It must have been just like, we have a truck out back full of money and it's yours. And I mean, like, yeah, you can't blame him for saying yes to that, but does he need it though? I mean, does he need it? I don't know. But as far as the canon thing, I think Midnight's Edge laid out a real good case. And Doomcock had reported on it previously. And yeah, it's just not the same. Now, does that change your view on everything? With Star Trek Discovery, it does a bit. I was saying in the recaps that if it's in the Kelvin universe, then I wouldn't hate it as much. But the Picard thing, it's fake. It's an alternate. It's an else worlds Picard. Do we need that? I mean, like, if you want to go into alternate Star Trek stories, there's a lot more interesting stories to tell than Picard in his, final years. When I guarantee you, this is what the show is going to be about. Picard is a former ambassador to Vulcan, and he's on his winery, and he's living alone. And a young woman comes to work on the winery and shows him, gives him a new lease on life. Shows him the way. Let's get to the chat here. But isn't it interesting? That article came out like 2 hours ago, 2 to 3 hours ago. So it's just funny, some of the timings of these things. I'd actually mentioned on Twitter, and I even did I at Doomcock? I can't remember. You had to count down when the response articles were going to be. I'm surprised we haven't seen anything from comicbook.com. One of my inside sources say there's shit going down, but I think there was shit going down. Now, I am going to talk about Counterpart and how it relates to Star Trek Discovery. One of the main things I used to do here, I do more of commentary now, which is, I'm fine. I'm very happy with this and talking about pop culture in general, but we used to specialize, and we still do a bit, in TV. Let me get to the super chats before I get going on that. Sorry, I'm sleep deprived today, so my brain is a little, the ADHD is cranked up to like 15 right now. I'm just pure coffee, going on pure coffee. So let's start with Tim Riggs, $2. Thanks for the male gaze material, Gary. You are quite welcome. You are quite welcome, Tim Riggs. It's all about the gaze, the male gaze. The male gaze, not, you know what I mean. The hunky chunky funky monkey, 2 pounds. Prostate juice. I will never forgive you for that. Last night, yes, when we speculated that the aliens are actually coming down to milk prostates for fuel. It was late. Things were getting weird. Astaroth, thank you again for the $5 super chat. Silhouetted Animator, what is up, my friend? Thank you again for the $2 super chat. Beard Hunter will appear in the Doom Patrol show. Dude, the Doom Patrol show is sounding pretty good. Okay, the sweatsuit cyborg aside, it looks kind of good. I'm going to give it a chance. We'll see. Hopefully it doesn't go full on. Hopefully it goes Aquaman. Hopefully they steer towards the Aquaman aesthetic of like, let's just try to have fun and not be weird. You know how bad things have gotten, folks? Things have gotten so bad. I'm going to out Mrs. Nerdrotic a little bit. Mrs. Nerdrotic, she's a hairdresser in San Francisco. She's pretty liberal. Okay, she's pretty liberal person. We were talking this morning while I was getting my hair cut, and she's like, Yeah, she used to love the show Roswell, right? And so she saw the revival, and she said they couldn't get through an episode without talking about some kind of politics, without talking about ICE or something like that. And she's like, "Ah, it's so bad." That's how bad it's gotten. That's how bad it's gotten, that they're reviving shows just for messages and not for entertaining. And yeah, that's maybe that's the only reason they brought Roswell back. And yeah, she had that was pretty astute. By wife, she's pretty smart though. Thank you for the super chat, silhouetted animator. Mr. Will Guitar, £5. Did you ever see Blake 7? Another UK great. Also, check Cruise of the Gods, which had a great fan portrayal. Thanks for all your videos, sir. I have not. Thank you for the £5 super chat. I appreciate it. I have not seen Blake 7. That will be corrected. I have some commitments I have to get through the first 6 months of this year that I have promised that I have not followed through on yet. And once that is over, I will take on Blake 7. Because it sounds like something I'd like. But yeah, I did. That's like the one thing I missed. I had heard of it, but yeah, I never saw it. And it's my mistake, I hear. Mark C, $5. I'm going to say it. Sir Patrick sounds old. I love him, but yeah, he's old. It's completely forgivable. I don't ever want to come off like I am criticizing Sir Patrick Stewart, because I am not. I question why he needs the money, but it's really none of my business. Take the money. I hope the show's good. I want the show to be good, but Akiva Goldsman is in charge. So the only way it's going to work is maybe Michael Chabon can write a good script. His Spider-Man 2 script wasn't, but his books are good. The one book I read was good. But Akiva Goldsman, if he's only there in only name only, then possibly, but I have my doubts. I don't think this will be a good show. Tamarocks again. Thank you for the $50 super chat, my friend. Thank you so much. And I'll repeat this. A Picard series without appearance of the other TNG crew, count me out. Sounds like Tim Allen's character in Galaxy Quest. Well said, my friend. Yeah, it really does. That's a weird. Life imitating art, which is imitating art, imitating life. Oh, I'm confused already. Mark C, $2. Jake Luck Picard, the sitcom. That would probably be more interesting. Thank you so much, Mark C. And it was good seeing you last night. Tim Riggs, $5. There is no reason to trust the potential quality and every reason to question the motivation of every reason to expect a FU coming to the fans. Tim Riggs, I fully expect it. I am waiting. My ear is open for that big, the middle finger, throwing some F-bombs at us. It's coming. Listen, you know this, Tim. The minute that show comes out, and say it just sucks. It's just terrible. But the minute some of us criticize it and some of you criticize it in the chat, you think the kerfuffle over Star Trek Discovery is bad. Shit. Come on, it's going to be nothing compared to that. The title is Jean-Luc Picard in the 25th century. Says Scaro Trek. Thank you for the $2. Yeah, that's better than what they came up with. It has an actual title. We can't tell you, but it has a title. Hey, we heard there's going to be a show. Well, we don't even know there's a show yet. We know there might be a title, but this thing has not gone into production. And according to one of my sources, they aren't going ahead on anything until a decision is made with Star Trek Discovery. Again, more on that later. Mega Jetty 1. I'm premiering a vid at 4:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is which is now, right? Check it out. Well, they can check it out after my live stream, but thanks Mega Jetty 1 for the $2. Yeah, check out the video. But that's now. That's right now. Let's hashtag save the beard. Yeah. Oh, don't worry. The beard's not going anywhere. It breaks the monotony of my face. Okay. So Counterpart. And now this is going to relate to Star Trek. So bear with me. Been covering TV for a long time. So How I Met Susan was from a Starz network show called Ash versus Evil Dead. We were covering Ash versus Evil Dead. Loved this show so much. Third season wasn't as great as the first two, but still better than most shows on TV. It got delayed because Starz was purchased by Lionsgate. They got super cheap. They cut everybody's budget. They lost a showrunner. Show got delayed. Show gets canceled. Show doesn't get part of the reason was it didn't get promoted at all. They used to go to Comic-Con. They didn't go to Comic-Con. There was nothing out there. Nobody even knew it was on. It usually came out in October. It came out in April, and the show died. Why? Because Starz couldn't back it. Now, Bruce Campbell gave a huge hint months before the show was officially canceled. He went out in an interview. He was a little tipsy, and he said, well, you know, I might be hanging up my chainsaw. You never know, someday. And it was just speculation. But if you read between the lines, actors have NDAs. So if their show hasn't been officially canceled, but they know it's kind of on the way, they can't say anything. They're not, I mean, Bruce Campbell doesn't give a flying, you know what? That's why he said something. But most actors, especially younger ones, up and coming, they're not going to say anything to break their NDAs. It ruins their chance to get another job because they're not trusted, unless you're a big actor who can get away from that with that stuff. Bruce Campbell can get away with that stuff. So he did that, and we ran a video saying is Ash versus Evil Dead canceled? And this was when we had like 300 subscribers, but we still got like 8,000 views, and I was stoked. I was like, yeah, right on. And we got a lot of shit. We got a lot of people going, it's not canceled. They're not going to cancel it. He was just talking. It's the same stuff I'm hearing with Star Trek Discovery. See where I'm going here? Okay, so with Counterpart, again, I'm going to paraphrase. The actress who plays Claire put out a tweet saying, you know, God, the show has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. You think more people would be watching it. She didn't come out and say the show's going to get canceled, but she came out and said the show's going to get canceled just with that tweet. It was brought to my attention through our friend Rough Girl, and I tried to bring it to people's attention, and nobody cared. Nobody cared. Why? Because Starz didn't promote the show. They promoted it a little bit on Twitter, but it was specialized promotion. It was like, if you're talking about Counterpart, you're going to see a Counterpart ad. Well, what good is that? That's people already talking about Counterpart. You want to get it to the people who aren't talking about Counterpart. That specialized advertising is you're preaching to the choir with that crap. I don't understand it. So, you know, Counterpart, in turn, it made a couple mistakes within the show as well. It got rid of a couple of the big actors they didn't want to. It got pulled into this Me Too thing a little bit. And right now it's looking very Westworld season 2, which I still need to do a video on deconstructing that season and why it is just god awful. And I was liking it up until the end. So again, I bring this up and people are, oh, it's probably not going to get canceled. I mean, a lot of you, to your credit, were like, yeah, it's probably going to get canceled. If you look at the overnights, what Susan and I have tried to communicate here is, here in the States, overnight still count. It still matters more than anything. People go, oh, the streaming service, yeah, that does help, but it still needs to be watched overnight and in the first 3 days. That's where they put the most weight into those numbers. And if they don't get that, it really doesn't matter how good your streaming is. That's what hurt The Expanse. The Expanse got canceled with decent ratings when they were consolidated out, but the overnights were bad because most people were streaming it, and it hurt the show. Now, do they need to change the rules? Yes, they do. So how does this relate to Star Trek Discovery? Anson Mount and Ethan Peck put out a little tweet that you know about that said, oh, 2 actors looking for unemployment. Now, yes, it could have been Anson Mount and Ethan Peck going to El Pollo Loco to get, I don't know, some chicken fajitas or something, and being funny. Or it could have been kind of a passive-aggressive tweet to get around your NDA, which I'm thinking more and more that it was. Now, it could mean a couple things. It could mean Star Trek Discovery Season 3, if it happens, doesn't have Pike and Spock in it, which I suspect would be the case, to be honest with you. Here's my speculation with Star Trek Discovery Season 3. If they get it, it will be at half the cost. You'll see a lot of stuff will take place on the ship. There won't be a lot of location. The effects will get dialed way the hell back. if it gets a third season, it will be, and this is just purely my speculation. This thing, they burned through so much of their budget just in the first few episodes. They cannot continue doing that. So they're going to have to give you something way dialed back. And they're also going to have to dial back casting. They're going to have to dial back costs on every level. Because I think, my opinion, the only reason if they brought it back was to save face. That's the only reason you bring this thing back. It's not even trending on Twitter. And as some of the Dreckies out there give Orville crap. The Orville gets a lot more people watching than Star Trek Discovery. Millions more than Star Trek Discovery. Let's get to the chat. So I think, the more I think about it, I've seen hints, like with Mr. Robot, we knew that was going to end. Sam Esmail was dropping hints that he was, going to end it. Yeah. If you go and it's not that hard to research, you go pay attention, you see like if a couple of the actors in the show take up other roles somewhere else, that would conflict. So that either means that character is going to die or the show's going to die. We'll see. We'll see. But I think it puts a little more weight in that Anson Mount tweet, in my opinion. Dialed back budget might be good, and as it forces them to work on story, I think budget hit would actually be good for STD. But they can't work on story. These are people who are incapable of it. If they took a budget hit and got new showrunners, I think it would have a chance. I think you could turn around STD if you cleared house, got brand new writers, but honestly, like you would be clearing house again. We're on our third set of writers for this show. STD bad. It just is. It's just bad. What's up, DJD Show? How's it going? That's Berserker Pride. So a Discovery where they don't discover anything. I know exactly. Oh God. I'm thinking back to the Red Letter Media pointing out the shooting star in Deep Space too. I'm just like, oh man. And I missed that one too. That's as bad as Sonar in Space. So in Calypso, there's a scene with the shooting star in Deep Space, and I didn't see the shooting star. It's like, okay. Netflix or Amazon should pick up Evil Dead series. Prepper James, Susan was part of the Bring Back Boomstick campaign. They were trying to make that happen, and there was too much squabbling within the fans, so they couldn't. It wasn't like The Expanse. Everybody on Save the Expanse was on board with each other. Like there was no like politics or they were just trying to save the show. Apparently some internet politics got in the way. It was a sad case. But yeah, I think Netflix might've been a good place for Evil Dead. But Bruce ain't going back. No, he's pretty pissed about how the whole thing went down. Yeah, that sucks. Counterpart could go. I think Counterpart would be perfect for Amazon. It's perfect for Amazon, but they've done some stuff story-wise. I don't know if they can get themselves out of right now because they're rushing towards an end. They knew it was ending, so it was about just not telling us. They've known all along that this show only had the second season, which makes me question whether I even want to cover it on the last episode on this channel. Like I kind of don't. I'm kind of pissed about that because they knew. And why should I do Starz any favors? But I'll do it for you guys, for the subs. Okay, Jeff Taylor, $5. I never realized how much I love Trek until its current situation. That's a great point. Until its current situation has made me a little depressed. It's kind of embarrassing. Jeff Taylor, thank you for the $5. That is brilliant, and I wanted to bring this up. Those of you who are older nerds like myself, remember when it was embarrassing to like Star Trek, to like Star Wars, to like comic books, and not like we didn't like them, but the way things were. I'm not a victim. Okay. I'm not going to go, oh my God, I've got PTSD because somebody made fun of me because I read comic books. No. Okay, it's not like that. But we got shit. And this was when I was younger. And I felt like embarrassed to like Star Trek. And now I was thinking about this with Doctor. It was one of my shower thoughts, Jeff, with Doctor Who and Star Trek. It's embarrassing to like these things now. They've made it embarrassing. It's not even necessarily about the whole women issue. It's about the preachy politics, and what Melissa brought up earlier, Mrs. Nerdrotic, is the motivation behind bringing back some of these franchises was, I mean, it's always money first, but a big factor in this was agenda. Kathleen Kennedy made it clear with Star Wars that was a big part of Star Wars, was we want to change the face of our fandom. Again, companies going out there, companies used to react to truth, react to trends. Big companies are at the downriver, at the end of the street of trends. Like I've said before, they don't create them. Trends are created naturally down here in the general populace. They don't make trends. They don't make truth, and they don't get to pick their fans, but they're trying to do that. And well, they're finding out it's kind of rough. You don't get to pick your fans. You should be grateful for the ones you have and try to entertain them and rely on them to make new fans, because nobody, no amount of money or marketing company in the world can match word of mouth. That's it. Word of mouth is your best marketing tool. That's what gets everything going. Game of Thrones is popular because of word of mouth. Star Wars got popular because of word of mouth. And same with Star Trek, and well, Star Trek with reruns, but it was also, friends talking about it, and and they think they could freaking make reality. It's good luck with that. All they're doing is killing the golden goose. And, once they're done with their little toy and they've completely destroyed it, they're going to move on, and we're left picking up the pieces. And then, it's embarrassing right now. It's Doctor Who's really embarrassing. Yeah. Tim Riggs, $5. Studios are spending too much on star power and marketing BS and not enough on good writers. True. Is there any reason to blame the WGA on writer quality? Yes. Yes. As you know, unions in Hollywood are gatekeepers. That's all they are. So they don't really cultivate talent. They protect people's jobs. They don't really, they don't have like a farm system. They are keeping out very good writers, and it's cronyism. So through the reason you hear all of this projection for diversity and inclusion is people scrambling to save their fucking jobs. Who are most of the people? Somebody brought this up in a message in our Facebook group, and the message was half right. I agreed with half of it. Most of the people talking about this are a bunch of white folks, and it looks like it's a lot of CYA going on to me. Instead of like letting it happen naturally, because I guarantee you there is a diverse group of talented writers out there, but not all of them are getting in, because it's the chosen diverse group. All right. It is handpicked by the powers that be, whoever that is. So that's not true diversity. It's just, you played the game. That's it. Chris Chibnall picked some buddies. That was all. I mean, even Jodie was a buddy. Like, he had worked with her. Listen, there is 1,000 women I would pick ahead of her for the Doctor. Olivia Colman is certainly one I would pick over her. I don't love the idea, but if I had a gun to my head, I would say Olivia Colman. She's pretty good. Star Trek Undiscovered, says Neon Visual. £2. What's up, Neon Visual? How's it going? They got a channel. Go check it out. They're brilliant. Tamarocks again. Tamarocks. Hail Tamarocks. $5. If Amazon picked up Counterpart after picking up the Expanse, I'd be a Prime member for life. Wishful thinking, I know, but still. Yeah, let's put it out there. I'll make the commitment right now. Jeff Bezos, if you pick up Counterpart for 2 more seasons, pick it up for 2 more seasons. I'll do 3 videos a week, and I'll sign up a second Prime account, and I'll stay on it for 10 years. Probably would anyway, but Sure, I'll do it. What the hell? By the way, if they release The Expanse weekly, I will keep my promise. I tweeted at Cass Anvar that I will do 3 videos a week on The Expanse. If they release it weekly, if they dump it all at once, I mean, the most I can do is 3 altogether on the whole series, which really sucks. I don't want to do that. And it's not the right kind of show to drop all at once. Thank you, Tamarox. Thank you, Neon Visual, Jeff Taylor, Tim Riggs, Mega Jetty 1, Scaro Trek. Let's get up there. Tim Riggs again, Mark C, Tamarox, Mark C, Mr. Will Guitar, Silhouetted Animator, Astaroth, the Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey, and Tim Riggs. Thank you all for the super chats. I'm going to get to a couple more and get back to the other super chat. I don't like to call it the regular chat. You're all super chats. Destiny Captain for 99 cents. Thank you, Destiny Captain. I appreciate you. Loquacious Primate. What is up, my friend? I believe the Midnight Set video, but someone challenged me that Bad Robot is involved in STD. Do you know of any proof STD is made under the Bad Robot license? No, it's all circumstantial. I found some proof in the Star Trek Discovery Blu-ray special features, which Tom showed in the video, and I mentioned in multiple live streams, where Alex Kurtzman mentions that they brought a lot of the people from the films to make it match the cinematic, to make it match cinematically from the film to the show. They wanted the aesthetic to look the same, which it does because Bad Robot. Alex Kurtzman's company is called Secret Hideout. Think about that. So outwardly, no, it is run by J.J. Abrams' company, Bad Robot, but not technically. So if people want solid proof on anything, we're just arguing over semantics at this point, Loquacious Primate. You don't have to provide any proof at all. All you have to say is open your eyes. Now, if they want to be blinded to that crap, let them be blinded to that crap. But let's look at the reality. CBS has been reduced to making excuses for this show, lying about this show, putting paid articles about this show. I suspect inflating the clicks on a failure of Brother, putting it on YouTube. They pulled it off. It only got 100,000 views. In comparison, Cobra Kai episode 1, 55 million views. 55 million views compared to, 1 million for Star Trek Discovery, which is Star Trek. Freaking Star Trek. If you put Wrath of Khan for free on YouTube for one day, it would get 1 million in a couple hours. So, I mean, or any, Star Trek, you put any Star Trek episode for free on YouTube, it would hit 1 million pretty fucking quick. Excuse my language. But yeah. So Star Trek Discovery, a brand new show, the premiere of your flagship effing show on your streaming service, crawled to 1 million views. And I would like to point out, and I'm going to talk like, and Alex Kurtzman, and my Orville video had more likes on it than the Star Trek Discovery video. My Orville video, which is not quite at 400,000 views, has more likes. It had more likes in the first 24 hours than Star Trek Discovery had in its first 24 hours. Actually, I have a couple videos that had more likes in the first 24 hours than Star Trek Discovery had in a couple. And I am like a tiny little channel. They are CBS All Access. So that says everything. So if people want to like split hairs on this, Loquacious Primate, you just tell, I mean, you're smart. You don't need me to tell you anything, but you just go Trekkie. that's it. It's just, don't bother. It's like, listen, you're arguing with somebody who just wants to love the brand. And we might want to be a little, let's use the word empathy. We might want to be a little empathetic towards them. They want to love Star Trek. These people want to love Star Trek, and they're blinded by their nostalgia, and Hollywood relies on that so much. And it's manipulative. I mean, that's the name of the game. But in 2 years' time, if you could find that person, I want you to just hit them up and go, what was your favorite moment in Star Trek Discovery season 2? You got 5 seconds to answer. I mean, like, anybody can like name 5-10 seconds. They can name their favorite moment in something they truly deeply love. You know, we were talking about Doctor Who yesterday and Dalek, and yeah, but one of my favorite moments in all of New Who is when Christopher Eccleston finds out that the Dalek can't fire at him. Like he's all alone, and like first he's freaked out, then he sees the gun go pew pew shooting blanks, and he just starts maniacally laughing, and you could see just the insanity in him. It's like one of my favorite moments. Okay, so yeah. And the other favorite moment is when the master, we figure out it's the master, and the fob watch starts working in Utopia, and the music build up, and Jack is running down the hallway. That's my other favorite moment in New Who. Old Who? When Tom Baker, I mean, I guess it would be considered kind of a sexist scene now. When Tom Baker is giving Sarah Jane shit, and he's trying to coax her through the tunnel, and she's all, I can't do it. He's all, what are you, weak woman, and stuff like that. And he like gets her to go out there, and she's all mad at him, and he's all, got you to come through the tunnel. There you go. So love that. And anything with John Pertwee. Like I said, I am brain fried right now, so I can barely remember my name. This is the closest I'll ever be to being drunk. Like 4 hours sleep. It's really bad, but I had a good time on Exozone last night. But Loquacious Prime, thank you for the $5. It's a good point, and it's circumstantial evidence, but there's a ton of it. What do you think, Loquacious? You can answer in the chat, of course. Like, you said you believe Midnight's Edge. Like what point did you believe them? I think the Spock Prime action figure is kind of exhibit A. I think that the fact that it says Spock Prime on that action figure kind of says it all to me. And I honestly, maybe I was aware of it and didn't remember, but Dean Hess for $5. Writers apparently haven't gotten the message that we watch TV and movies to escape real world issues, not to be beaten, not to have them beaten into us. Agreed. None of us are asking there never to be politics in anything again, but I'm saying pump the brakes, dial it back, especially in hyper political times, and you might find yourself more successful. But yeah, when my wife comes up to me and goes, I think the only reason they brought back Roswell was to talk about ice. Because she's all that's the only thing they keep bringing it up over and over again. Like once, okay, sure, but yeah. Good point, Dean. Good point. Tyler X2F01, Canadian $5. Our Canadian friends are in the house. What's up? I could name one person who loves Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor, Colin Baker, because he is no longer the most hated Doctor. He is probably her biggest fan. Oh, I tell you what, I would most definitely watch some of his episodes. I mean, he had decent companions and stuff. He was a bit screamy though. Yeah, I would watch more of his. That I will never, ever, ever watch another second of season 11 as long as I live, unless it's like in previous or last year in Doctor Who. And believe me, season 12 is it. I'm done. I'm going to cover that, and I'm done. The Big Red Bear, 20 Canadian. Oh, here come the Canadians. Here come the Canucks. $20. How long do you think the writers union can keep things together? Ooh, this is a good question. Give that more and more entertainment in other mediums, including other mediums on the big and small screen, seem to be failing. They can't go on forever. They won't. I kind of predicted that the unions, I'm surprised they've lasted this long, but the thing is they're weak now. There are threats of another strike, but I wouldn't suggest that. I would say if there's another, I was working in Hollywood towards when right after the writer's strike ended, and people were so goddamn mad at the writers. They jacked up a lot of stuff, and it was funny. Is the thing is, the companies were kind of screwing them when it comes to streaming, and they saw that coming. But yeah, their union will get broken this time because they'll just go, okay, there's plenty of people out there who will, write episodes of television for him and called Scabs and stuff. And I don't think much longer. I don't think it's sustainable anymore. It's getting too big, even for Hollywood. It's very centralized there, but the more power Netflix and Amazon get, that's going to change things. Rory McGee, thank you again, the big red bear. Rory McGee, what is up? 5 pounds. Tig Notaro's Hummer is so dry, it left me with zero taste for any more STD or humor. I said Hummer. I said Tig Notaro's Hummer. Yeah, her Hummer's dry. It left me with zero taste for STD as well. I told you I was tired. Yeah, and all I hear is what a brilliant comedian she is, and she seems smarmy and everything, but it sounds like she's doing her stand-up in the middle of a TV show. It's like everything's stopping for Tig Notaro to do her stand-up. And it really puts everything to a screeching halt. And then, yeah, her exchange with Stamets was so god-awful. It was just forced and bad and terrible. And that's how things are written now. They're written to get to a scene. Like, scenes don't flow anymore. It's like they come up with the end result before they come up with what led to it. So they have plot points. So they have points. They're like each episode, and this kind of happens with writers' room, I guess. They're all, well, we're going to have this happen and this happen and this happen, and we need you to help us to get there. And they just go, he got up, ate some breakfast, and watched Tig Notaro do her stand-up routine, and then he tried to be smarmy back. And it looked like one person ad-libbing to somebody else who could not ad-lib to save their life. My favorite moment of the STD, the end credits. I will give STD a compliment. Captain KG, thank you for the $2. Jeff Russo, who does the music for Counterpart, did the music for Legion. He's very good. He's very good. It's wasted on that show, just like Doug Jones. Poor Doug Jones, man. God, I mean, he comes to work. He's good. He's convincing. With that crap writing, he did a convincing job. He did. Props to that guy. You want to talk about deserving? Who cares about Academy Awards? I'll give him a Rory. That's our awards here. I'll give Doug Jones a Rory for being the best thing in something awful. Sci-Fi Geek, thank you for the $10. What's up, Sci-Fi Geek? The Doctor being a woman was a political decision. It certainly was, not a creative one, and she sucks. And I've been thinking about what you said last week, and I wouldn't want a female Spider-Man, and I don't want a female Doctor. Yes, and we're made to feel bad for saying that. And Jodie Whittaker is even come out and talks about, well, maybe they're just not there yet. They don't have that world point of view because it shouldn't matter. Well, all right, I'll use your own logic. If it doesn't matter, then why did the Doctor have to be a woman? If it doesn't matter, then it doesn't matter. Oh, it does matter. Oh, because it was a political decision. Because there was an article later, which I actually ended up editing. I should give you guys on Patreon because that video was like 25 minutes long and I cut it down to 16. So there's another article that talks about her being very excited that women are replacing male roles. They're casting women in traditionally male roles, which certainly works sometimes. Lenny in Legion was a male role. Aubrey Plaza came in, but you know what the difference was? Everybody, you guys know, but maybe somebody doesn't. Good writing and a brilliant actress. Aubrey Plaza is like one of the best actresses in Hollywood. And she's great. And she's rare. She's straight up, just like this manic method actor. And, those are my favorite. I mean, they're crazy, but they're also the best actors. And she is so good in that role. So it is possible, but why not just create a brand new character? It shows more respect for women when you create a new character, put the commitment in to take time to build this character over time, and you will have success if you have good writing. But they didn't have enough faith in a female character on her own to bring the butts into the seats. Initially, they felt like they need to slap another label in, and they deliberately took something away from the boys. Look at the reaction on Twitter that day. The day of the announcement, what did you see? male tears, and people were acting like they won the freaking Super Bowl. Okay, how does that victory feel now? How does it feel now? It's a little hollow. So you sold out a 55-year franchise, more than half your fan base, for a political gimmicky decision. Because it was a little of both. It was political and it was a gimmick. It's just the latest gimmick in a long line of gimmicks that isn't going to work. And I laid it out in the video. This trend has actually come and gone before. So this isn't even a new trend. This is like the fourth time it's been around, and third time in pop culture, and it'll come around again. The thing is, you could have done it right. And what happens is when the powers that be are so lazy about this shit and they do it and they force it on people, it creates a backlash for something that we don't want a backlash for. We want more women and stuff. It's great. I don't want to watch a sausage fest all the time. Hell no. But the thing is, I don't want to watch a show where all the men are freaking idiots. I don't want to watch a show where all the women are idiots either. And what's happening is you're writing a show where the women are a bunch of plastic, I mean, lack of a better term, NPCs. They just go on screen and they're fucking great at everything. And they're either scientists or doctors. And crap. Okay. Sorry to pick on Counterpart, but Nia Temple, this character Nia Temple that they brought in this year. Okay. Black female head of department who's a Muslim, and they show her praying twice, and she has a special needs kid and a stay-at-home dad. It's like bing, 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 bing. We just checked every box off in one character. But she brings zero to the table for this show. She doesn't fit into the show at all. She's too good. The thing is, they have laid the groundwork in Counterpart where everybody, even Howard, even our main character, is a little compromised or a little dirty. But Nia Temple, she's an angel. She flew down and fixed everything, and nothing's ever going to happen to her because they're afraid, if you're going to bring in a female character and then not have the, sorry, lack of a better term, balls to write them with any kind of complexity, then you're just being lazy and it's going to create a backlash. So, I showed the example of Kara Thrace in Battlestar Galactica. That is a really well flawed character that completely won over the fan base. And I'm sorry, I forgot who brought it up in last live stream, but it was brought up in a live stream. Like, would there have been the same reaction to the Doctor to Starbuck? And there kind of was. It just wasn't that. It was only in forums. There was no YouTube or Twitter at the time, but people were totally pissed. They were like, "What?" And guess what won them over? Good writing. Now it's totally different because that was an alternate reality. That was another out I gave you guys at Doctor Who, is you could have made this an alternate reality, and then one day you could have a male and a female Doctor running concurrently. But again, they don't believe in the female Doctor enough. That's why I changed my mind. That's why I don't think you'll see Captain Jack in this show. That's why I don't think you'll ever see David Tennant. I think the only people they'll bring back are the women. They've already talked about maybe bringing Rose back, or that's who you'll see come back, or Karen Gillan. You will not see any of the men come back. Nope. Let's do a couple more and I'll get back to the other super chat here. Tim Riggs, $2. Think CBS has C-SPAN as a top rival nowadays? Oh, dude. C-SPAN probably outdraws them, Tim, to be honest with you. It depends on who's on, but it is very low number. It's a very low number. I mean, we talked about it, there's a way you can, I'm not going to be right down to the 10,000th, but I'll guess. My guess is Star Trek Discovery on an average night gets like Winona Earp numbers. I think I'm being generous there. So Winona Earp's on Sci-Fi. It gets about 300,000 people watching it overnight, maybe 4. Maybe that many people watch Star Trek Discovery. I imagine it's probably lower, but I'll be nice. We'll say 300,000 people watch that show. That show costs $10 million an episode. So they're bleeding money at this point, bleeding. So we could celebrate our fandoms, Gary. Which Trek uniform do you like the most? I like the ones in Wrath of Khan, and your favorite Who villain reveal. My pick are the Cybermen and Tomb of the Cybermen. My favorite villain. Oh, this is gonna be such a basic answer. It was before they were kind of ruined. I do like the Weeping Angels. I know it's terrible. Before that, I like the Cybermen. I do. It's just, it feels like the Cybermen to me are a lot like the Romulans in Star Trek. Great in concept, and I still feel like their greatest episode is coming someday. There's been great episodes, but greatest episode is coming someday. But yeah, I'm gonna sound like a Tumblrina, Hot Topic shopper, and the Weeping Angel. I loved the concept of the Weeping Angels. I thought that was so cool. But like, just the first 2 episodes they were in. After that, they got freaking ruined, kind of like the Borg. My favorite uniform is original series. I love those original series uniforms. I like the movie ones, but burgundy's just, it's not a color I like very much. I would say the original series uniforms and the uniforms they were wearing in Nemesis, those were good. They finally had worked out the Next Generation uniform, which God, at first I hated those big open collars and stuff. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Thank you, Astaroth. Sean Widowson. God, I'm so brain dead right now. I'm sorry, Sean. Thank you for the New Zealand $5, and Astaroth, thank you for the $10 if I didn't mention that. Thank you for the $5 New Zealand dollars. Happy to be able to catch a live stream. Doesn't line up often in the New Zealand. That Tig Notaro scene with Stamets could have used some duct tape on the dialogue. Oh my God, yes. Well played. Well played. I mean, back to your question, my favorite Doctor Who villain is the Roger Delgado Master. If we want to get down to like old school, I'm giving that some thought. It's like, I like his Master. I like how he, I don't know. I've been on a really big John Pertwee kick lately. I've been just watching his seasons over and over again. Because he was before Tom Baker, maybe I'm wrong on this one. I'm just going to say in my world over here, it might be different in the UK. It just never feels like he got his due. And it's interesting when you hear interviews with him. It sounded like he did that typical actor. Oh, I wanted to go all the time, but it sounded like he really didn't want to go. And by all accounts, like a really good guy. Like all the interviews, like I've watched a ton of interviews with him. He's just charming. And that's what the Doctor has to be. Every Doctor, no matter how old, they have to be 2 things at once. And it's hard. It's hard. Charming and intimidating. So you have to have the ability to make people comfortable and uncomfortable at the drop of a hat. Brent Newman, STD has a knitting circle, no writers, most people shopping. Let's have better composition and more entertaining. Same for Ray Wars and Dr. Woke. Exactly. We need to stop playing games with these franchises. But the problem is it's too late, Brent. I think with a lot of them, it's like the damage is done. And it's what, God, I'm sorry. I'm going to get his name up here. Cause again, what Jeff Taylor said earlier. I think that's embarrassed is a key word here. I think some of us are embarrassed right now, that our franchises have gone in this like ridiculous direction, having no consideration for a large portion of their fan bases, and then like giving them the finger on top of it. And this is, the media is not doing their job, obviously. And they're also, I don't understand. I think when Stephen Fry said that the politically correct, the thing that matters the most, their most valued currency is being right, I totally believe that. Because if there's a website out there, if they were smart, they would see what's going on with my channel, with Geeks and Gamers channel, even better example. Geeks and Gamers channel, the Star Wars community, what's going on over there, seeing the growth there and go, God, I sound like just the latest echo to one of these million other sites. If I subvert the expectations of the media and maybe I side with some of these YouTubers, some of you out there have to genuinely side with us. You would get clicks. People would just be running to your website. You would be a true alternative. You know, there's a couple of websites that have done that. Bounding into Comics and Bleeding Fool. Credit to both of them. I highly recommend both of them. And I was reading them before they shared my videos. So they just tried to do something different, and it's worked. It's worked. So good for them. You know, you always want to be fair, but we're not getting fair from comicbook.com, CNET, TV Guide, IGN's the worst. IGN was never good. I used to go to the website, but it was never good. Getting down to the chat. Missy would destroy Jody. Exactly. I liked Missy. There was some good stuff with Moffat. I'm not saying Moffat was all bad. There was moments of great. Hey, the guy used to be a great fucking writer. He did. Somebody just tweeted at me they were doing some laundry and watching Girl in the Fireplace. I'm like, fucking, that was such a good episode. You know, and you remember that maybe when Moffat's working for somebody else, he's much better than working for himself. I love it when you call your wife Mrs. Nerdrotic. Don't stop it. Okay. I don't know how she likes it. She's all right with it. This is for you and all the people in the chat. Is there a news website with really critical comments on Doctor Who and Star Trek Discovery? Pixel Quadrant. The only ones that I've seen, and it's not super critical. I mean, I'm sure there's a blog out there. We're talking major website, right? The only ones that I've seen be critical of either of them are Bleeding Fool. Did I say Bleeding Cool earlier? My bad. Bleeding Fool, not Bleeding Cool. Bleeding Cool bad. Bleeding Fool good. I am tired. Gary bad. Bleeding Fool. Bleeding Fool and Bounding into Comics. There has to be somebody else that I am not entirely aware of. Now, some websites are hamstrung. They can't do it because their bosses told them. So there are people like, you know, Susan runs a website, but it's a horror website. So she doesn't touch any of that stuff. Or she probably would, but that's not her thing. Her thing is, you know, Ash versus Evil Dead and Halloween and Stranger Things. Oh, by the way, go to 1428elm.com. My co-host Susan runs that. It's a really good horror website. It's the one I go to all the time, and it is 100% show free. I hated Missy. No one could hold a candle to John Sim. John Sim was great. Flake 452. I wish they had let him play it the way he wanted to. He wanted to dial it back a little bit, and when he came back in that god awful end of the season 10. He did a little bit, and I loved him though. I did, but Delgado's the best, man. Delgado, come on. Poor guy died in a car accident too. Sad. But Pixel Quadrant, that's a good question. I think if anybody in the chat knows the answer to that, because I don't know every site, I can tell you some channels. Boltrek, our good friend Boltrek, who I'm going to try to get on a live stream in the next couple weeks. I'm going to shoot him a message today. See if he's available to come on the show, because we need to talk. He's good. Clownfish TV, they're good. They've been properly critical. El Patron, I've heard, has been properly. SC Reviews has done some damn fine videos on Doctor Who. So there's some YouTubers that you could definitely check out and support, please. When it comes to, especially to Doctor Who. Does Missy count as a master? I'm going to say yeah, because I think it's in character for the master to do something like that. That never bothered me as much. But does she count as a master because they kind of Loquacious Primate? I'm going to backtrack on that because they kind of ruined her at the end. They kind of ruined her. They made her more kind. So I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. If they would have left it with season 8, Missy, even though that ending was a little ridiculous, let's be honest. It was a great buildup and a silly. I mean, that's Moffat though, right? So yeah, they ruined her at the end when they made her like the good master because she was a woman. And again, that's so lame, and that's men writing women, and that's the problem. And no, I don't want just women writing women. That's ridiculously stupid. It's they can't the writer, everybody's in fear. There's McCarthyism going on in Hollywood right now with all of this, with this PC bullshit that's going through all of our shows now. It's straight up McCarthyism. People are scared, so they're just half of these. It's an echo chamber there, and they're just repeating stuff to keep their jobs. I mean, like, I think it's a vast majority of them. I think most of them could give two fucks. And yeah, I think that's what's going on right now. So I think it's a lot of people just saying stuff and doing stuff to keep their jobs. And it's sad. And it's sad. So what this will spawn is an independent underground movement. That's what YouTube is. YouTube is punk rock. YouTube is punk rock. All trends and cycles repeat themselves in other areas. And if you look at the music scene from the 70s and 80s, when it was starting to get more sophisticated and there was the backlash to the whole hippie movement and stuff, that's kind of what's going on right now in television. I would say that music's already had its renaissance. It had its time in the sun, and now that time is over, and music is not as sophisticated or good as it used to be. Film, same thing. Film had its time in the sun. It's nowhere near as sophisticated, as good as it used to be. And we are in, believe it or not, it's taken this long for TV to really get sophisticated. And because of the streaming wars, we've gotten some amazing shit. So yes, there's been a lot of crap around it, but if you pick out even like when Game of Thrones was good, when Walking Dead was in its prime, I mean, those shows were unbeatable. Battlestar Galactica. Then you get shows like Legion. Then you get shows like Counterpart, which gets fucking canceled. First two seasons of Ash vs. Evil Dead. You got The Expanse. There is so much fucking really good TV. Altered Carbon, crazy, weird, good stuff. Daredevil season 1. That stuff would have never happened before. So, that's what ruined. I told you that's what ruined the CW for me. I was all into Arrow. I was like, Arrow's brilliant. That's how you make comic book TV. And then I saw Daredevil season 1. I'm like, that sucks. What have you done for me lately? I know I'm cold-hearted like that. I love Sims as an actor. Life on Mars, right? Yeah, he's fucking great. Did I go blurry? Hang on, sorry, my bad. Sometimes, oh shit, it gets out of focus. Thank you for letting me know. Sorry about that, folks. Camera just likes to unfocus because it doesn't like my face very much. And do you blame it, really? King of Scotland, what is up, bro? King of Scotland was in the Exozone last night, just rocking the chat. Rocking it, man. Hail to the king. If Kirk Picard both went to prison, who would make who their prison witch? I like what you did, that lone angler. Kirk would make Picard his in a second. Picard, sorry, folks. But yeah, Picard likes to play the flute. Yes. I mean, who's the one who has a propensity to like the musical theater? That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I mean, listen, you're in prison for a long time. Guys got to do what a guy's got to do. At least some of them do. And Picard, he might paint Picard green for some odd reason, but yeah. A very interesting question, Lone Angler. And this is the reason I do live streams, to get questions like that. I know plenty of trade show models and grid girls who have no problem with objectification. Now jump on board the feminist bandwagon without being under the label. Jason Bourne. As with everything, Jason, you're right. There's a case-by-case basis. That's, unfortunately, the general public and the masses and the internet mobs don't look at things like that. Okay. Not every guy objectifies women. I know. Newsflash. most of us are just thinking about like, oh, what am I going to eat? And when we're at Comic Cons, I remember the days where a booth babe couldn't distract a guy from a Hot Toys. She could be naked. You put a naked woman and you put a 1/6 scale Captain Kirk. 9 out of 10 guys are going for the Captain Kirk going, oh, you know, especially if they have a 1/6 scale like chair form, which they're about to release, by the way. And maybe like somebody threw in some LEDs on that thing. Man, that girl could be naked doing all kinds of weird things. The guy would just go, hang on. So yeah, let's stop that. You know, Big Chief Big Chief is making a Jody 1/6 scale figure. So disappointed. They haven't made a third Doctor. They haven't made it. I mean, they've only made New Who, and they've done a Tom Baker and a first Doctor. And the only one, I mean, the Tom Baker one, if you can find one, is $1,000. That's why it's not out, by the way. But they're making a Jody one. So I'll be able to possibly get you numbers on how much that sells. I'll be back to you on that one. They tend to lag, so it's gonna be like a year until it comes out. But all I know is the Clara figure. God, I'm losing it. Figure didn't sell shit. And yes, I did buy a Rose. I haven't put Rose out yet, though. Am I drunk? Yes, you're drunk. My camera is 100% in focus. 101 Dark Eyes. You are just inebriated. I'm gonna call the police. I was kidding. I'm not a snitch. Snitches end up in ditches. Guitardist, get a load of this, boys. TARDIS time and relative dimension in space. Were Tony's words and introducing his new creation to his family before any others. Isn't it sad that the first time they bring the first female Doctor in, she crashes the TARDIS? I mentioned that on the review. Yes, I did a review. It's on my channel if you dig. For maybe a couple of YouTubers who were talking about that, like I'm new to coming into Doctor Who, and you know, I'm talking to other YouTubers now, not you guys in the chat. My first podcast 5 years ago was a Doctor Who podcast. 5 years ago. On Christmas Day when Matt Smith said goodbye. And prior to that, I was doing Doctor Who podcasts at my comic store, but those are all gone now. Gone in the ether. Did I miss a world-shattering speech again? I zoned out dealing with Hidalgo and his friends on Twitter, but I got bored of proving them wrong. The Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey, what were you talking to Hidalgo about? That dude, if that guy worked for me, he'd be fired. I'm just saying. Pablo Hidalgo you're talking about, right? Yeah, the one who treats the fans so well. That guy's a tool. Kirk was the best captain, and TOS was the best Star Trek, and it had mini dresses. 99 Iron Duke. I still agree with you, but in about a year or two, it might be DS9 is my second favorite Trek. It's getting there. And that's a show I didn't like at first. The female Doctor, is she bigger on the inside? Well, she is. She has a bigger heart. She's more empathetic. I'm starting to notice that everywhere too. Empathy. It's like Hollywood discovered empathy. Oh my God. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me when a couple has a baby and it's their first kid. And they're like the first couple who ever had a kid. And they discovered everything first. I'm sure some of you experienced that, like, oh my God, he burped. You know, everything is like, I mean, we did it too, but yeah, that's what Hollywood is. They found a word and they're going to use it. Cran Muff Tarkin, well spoken, my friend. I'm going to slightly applaud you on this because I could not agree more. And listen, I think we can return to this. This is what this won't help my channel, and I don't care. I'm happy where I'm at. If it stops today, I'm good. I am so happy with where I'm at. This is what Star Trek fandom should be. Kirk versus Picard. STD has destroyed that simple joy. Put that on a fucking shirt. Put it on a plaque in bronze and stick it on Kurtzman's head. I agree. We should be sitting here debating on the merits of original series versus TNG. Babylon 5, was DS9 a ripoff of Babylon 5? I mean, I long for that stuff. DC versus Marvel, that's just fun. That one, you could stir that one up and get the DC and Marvel fans at each other's throats. That's entertaining stuff. I've spent hours watching that go down in my comic store. It was fun. Got out my popcorn. There was only fisticuffs a couple times in 10 years. Grand Moff Tarkin, it's good to see you, man. Clara annoyed the ever living hell out of me. Tim Riggs, me as well. And isn't it a bummer? I've said it before. Asylum of the Daleks, Clara was not annoying. She was actually really charming and funny, but they couldn't make her like that because she was flirtatious, and we can't have flirtatious because being flirtatious is bad now. And well, hey, this will all be over soon because we're not going to, procreate anymore. So we'll just die out. Mary Sue Clara was crap. She was. Damn you, I'm not drunk. This is Alex Brown. Well, I mean, the liquor's right over there in the cabinet, Alex, unless you emptied it again. I'm going to tell your mother. I'd rather Big Chief do a 7th, 6th, and 3rd Doctors over the 13th Doctor. Ray Venkman, agreed. I'd pay him damn good money and 100% deposit for a 3rd Doctor. I want a 1/6 scale 3rd Doctor. I'm sure there's some customs out there that I could find, but and I want him in his velvet 70s shit. Yes. Oh, thank you for bringing that up, DJD Show. I have thoughts on this. Brie Larson has several charities up right now that on the surface sound great. And when people are criticizing them, there's people coming out saying, you're criticizing children's charities. Okay, the charities are GoFundMes to get little girls, not little boys and girls, little girls, to see Captain Marvel. So they want us to give them money so they can pay for tickets full price. All that money will go to theaters and Disney, and they want to call it charity. Disney has enough money to rent out a theater in every major city and bring in, let's say 1,000 little girls in each city. And they can write all of that off, all of it. And they probably end up profiting from that. That shows you Disney's greed and their short-sightedness, and Brie Larson is lack of self-awareness. Yeah, I heard that this morning from EVS. I couldn't believe it. So yeah, do not donate to Disney. If you want to, definitely donate to the little girls, if they're in a shelter or something like that. Take that $100 and give it to them for food and clothing. Don't give that money to Disney. Go to one of the little girls and give her $100. Well, don't. That probably wouldn't look good. But go to whoever's at the home and just give them some cash to go towards the kids. Don't take them to a movie. For one, they're trying to do the same thing they did with Black Panther. And honestly, I'm going to say it's a different situation. It's 100% different situation with Black Panther. With Black Panther, I didn't really have a problem with it, but I mean, it's still giving money to Disney. Disney could have just given away free tickets. It's that simple. They could just, and it wouldn't hurt their bottom line. They give away 5,000 free tickets. Who cares? You get to write that off at full pop. I mean, not that it matters to them. Like I said, they could rent out a major theater in every city and they wouldn't even notice it. But that's how greedy this company, that is horrifically greedy and pandering and exploitive. That is exploitive in every sense of the word. Oh, so that susses it. I am buying a ticket to Battle Angel. I have bought a ticket for Captain Marvel. I'm going to I don't know if I can return it or cancel the sale on it. Maybe I can. Hopefully I can. And I'm going to buy a ticket to Battle Angel, and then I'm going to go see Captain Marvel. Man, this movie better be the greatest movie ever made. I'm going to be live. It will be the 7th, March 7th. I'll be live that night with Comics Division. Comics Division is going to join me, and we're going to review it. Yeah, I'm done with Disney. What, they're not going to have the original trilogy characters at the theme park? Like, why go? I'm almost thankful. I'm like, there's no reason I'm going to go there anymore. I've been to Disneyland a million times. I don't need to go. I'll go to Universal Studios. Honestly, I'd rather go on the Harry Potter ride. Go to Universal Studios and go to the Simpsons town. That's fucking cool. Oh, you know what was cool? Was the King Kong 4D thing. That was cool. I didn't think it would be cool. It was cool. And the ridiculous Fast and the Furious ride. It's horribly ridiculous, but I kind of enjoyed it. So, and Universal has the mall and a big theater, and it's cheaper. And their Halloween shit is awesome if you're down there. What's up, Midnight's Edge? The theaters would want compensation. They would get it by Disney renting out the theater. They wouldn't have to rent out their main theater. All they'd have to do is rent out one of the little ones, which they do every day, Tom. They, if you go look at your local theater, especially here in San Francisco, one of those theaters is rented out to some office party or some Fathom event or something like that. So no, it'd be easy for them to do it. Easy peasy. No, this is exploitive as hell. That's all it is. It's marketing. They're using Indiegogo, and probably Indiegogo is probably giving them a kickback. That's my guess. Yeah. Hollywood doesn't do anything genuinely. That's not their job. Everything is calculated. Every single fracking thing is calculated. That's why you see them tear up at Oscars and stuff when they talk about when those rare moments when they're, oh, he was so genuine. You hear that a lot, don't you? Because they're not, you know, and it must get to you after a while. Maybe you lose who you are when you pretend so much. I mean, like, look at Marlon Brando at the end of his life. That guy was a nutbag. Yeah, these people were lost, you know. What's up, Tom? Good job in the video, dude. I watched it twice. Watch it twice. You get more the second time. I'll link it in the description when this is a video. I hear Dark Phoenix is terrible. It probably is. I mean, they've reshot it, God, 3 or 4 times. Yeah. And I'm sorry, Sophie Turner. Sophie Turner is good as Sansa Stark. She's great as Sansa Stark. She is not Jean Grey. Come on. Femke Janssen was Jean Grey. As bad as those Singer movies were, that was a well-cast Jean Grey. That was Jean Grey. Yeah, Femke. Am I saying that right? Is it Femke, whatever? Let's get to a couple super chats and we'll get back to the other super chat. Let's go. The last one we talked to was Sean. Oh no, Brent. It was Brent. JPR, and thanks again, Brent. I appreciate it. JPRPH 1499 per tree was amazing indeed. To be that good and still earthbound makes me think he's my favorite Doctor. The concept initially I didn't like, and then as it went on, it made way more sense. It did. It was like actually a very good idea. And it also, you know, fit in with the continuity and the Doctor meddling. And remember when the Doctor meddling like mattered, you know? And yeah. So I hopefully will be getting some of that on Blu-ray soon, even with that god awful She logo on it. By the way, big thanks to my wrenches today. I don't know, Mary might not be feeling well, but I see Penn and I see the DJD show. Do I see anybody else? Thank you for showing up, you guys. I appreciate it. The Doctor 14 Blu-ray reviews. I'm going to take your suggestion, by the way, before I read your super chat, and I am going to look at those. I'm going to buy it. Yes, I'm going to buy it. I'm not going to watch any of the shows. I'm going to watch the special features and see if what you said is true. I believe you. I believe you. What the Dr. 14 Blu-ray review says is in the commentary. Was it just the commentary or special features? There's no political talk whatsoever, which I think could be a sign. Maybe not, but I don't know how they avoided political talk with the Rosa episode. By the way, I'm going to be doing a Doctor Who video. It's going to be tomorrow. I'm a little tired, so I can't get it done today. It's going to get shot today. It'll be cooked and ready tomorrow. The Dr. 14 Blu-ray reviews. Do you do the Ayatollah Gary by having both hands flat, point towards each other, raised above your head, and repeatedly move them up and down and pat in a patting motion? For 10 pounds? No, I can't. I would, if I did that right now, I'd pass out. But I guess I'll owe you that. Yeah, there's no way I could do that right now. I'm as a matter of fact, I need to have some Pete's. Oh yeah, I gotta watch the clock too. Mark C. Anyone else notice Whitaker's sonic screwdriver looks like a G-spot vibrator? Yes, actually. Do you know it spins, right, Mark C? It spins this way. Yeah, I have to say, I think it was Mecca who pointed that out. Maybe, I can't remember. I think it was her. Yeah. Yeah, it spins. Oh, thank you, Mark C. Mr. Roboto, $2. Good news. STD might just be a bad fan fiction. That is good news, Mr. Roboto. Yes, I think that's actually good news. I think Midnight's Edge gave us good news. It's bad news fucking for Star Trek. Yeah. Sad news. Counterpart, only one finale left. Driving home. $1.99 movie finale. Yes. So real quick, Counterpart canceled. The production company is shopping it around. I don't hold out high hopes. I'm really pissed off at Starz, as I talked about earlier. Screw them. I'm really close to saying I'm not going to cover American Gods because it's the next to be canceled because it's on Starz. So what I will commit is this: American Gods will be the last thing I ever cover on Starz. Period. I don't care if they bring back if I don't know, the Batman TV show is on Starz because it'll get canceled. So I won't. We're done with Starz after American Gods, and I might be done before that. Depends on how I feel. I like that show. So we'll see how the first episode goes. But remember, it's been 2 years since that's come out. Thank you, Movie Finobi. Drive safe. Joseph Petrick, 2 pounds and no. Oh, there is a question under there. Disagree with you on many points and watching. That's okay. You don't have to agree with me on everything. Come on. Mrs. Nerdrotic doesn't agree with me on everything. I don't agree with myself on everything. But that's cool. That's cool. Hey, at least still entertaining, maybe. There you go. Thank you for the 2 pounds. I appreciate it, Joseph. Thank you. Mr. Roboto, $2. If Disney is to be political, why not pay out of your own pocket? Exactly. They can afford it. But yeah, then it's just totally disingenuous. Tell you what, where are the charities to take boys and girls to Avengers 4? Where are they? Why are we just picking out little girls to go see Captain Marvel? And why are we making other people pay for it when Disney can do it themselves? And guess what? It would make them look better. Yeah, yeah. There's something else going on. I'm thinking they're getting a kickback from Indiegogo. They're not doing this without making money. Prove me wrong, Disney. The Dr. 14, thank you, Mr. Roboto. The Dr. 14 Blu-ray reviews, 5 pounds. My dad said not to care about politics and what Bree said. Well, that's to separate it from the movie. Yeah, you're supposed to do that, and we'll see how it depends on how the movie turns out. Your dad's right, but if they're going to insert it in the film, that's a different story. That's why I haven't made a Captain Marvel video yet, because we haven't seen anything in the film. And that's why I didn't make a Doctor Who video prior to about the Jodie situation until it came out. Because It can end up like Black Panther, which was politically motivated marketing, and the movie itself was just an average movie with the main character being the least interesting thing in it, which could be the case here. Like, listen, I want to see Skrulls. I'm a Fantastic Four fan. That is the main reason I'm going to see this movie, is to see the Skrulls. Nick Fury. We'll see if it turns out to be a nickname with a C. Thomas Williams, I am not bothered about Captain Marvel. Just can't be bothered to watch it. Yeah. You're always entertaining, and that's why I like watching. Thanks, Magpie. Ever Spirit, I appreciate that. But little girls are oppressed, right? Not boys? Who's stereotyping now? Exactly. It would have looked better if they had said boys and girls. It would have looked a lot better if they would have said boys and girls. I'd probably be thinking, no, it's still, listen, asking hardworking people to pay money to go see a Marvel movie, and when it's Brie Larson doing it, and EVS was correct to point this out, this directly benefits her. I'm sure she gets a percentage of the box office. I'm almost positive. So this directly benefits her, yes. Then it shouldn't be her asking for the money. It should be somebody else. And listen, yeah. I don't want Captain Marvel to derail the MCU. The MCU is like the last goddamn good thing we have. And even if it's a bad movie, you can kind of go, we got, Avengers 4 in a couple months. So we'll see. We'll see. I will be reviewing it that night. And if it's good, I'll tell you. I'll tell you it's good. I got no problem saying that. Oh, yeah, I got to say that real quick because I've got I've really got to go. I got to pick up Junior. I just found out I have to pick up Junior. Thanks, Mrs. Nerdrotic. Okay, real quick. Howard the Duck. Howard the Duck on Hulu. I am psyched for this. I am absolutely psyched for this. Oh, God, why do I have to go to any of these websites? I don't want to go to those websites. Okay, I'm not going to put any of these websites on my screen. So I wish Bleeding Fool was talking about it. Hulu, Marvel, greenlight, 4 connected animated series, including Howard the Duck. Marvel Studios and the parent company Disney have been pulling back on their association with Netflix ahead of the launch of Disney's own streaming service as Netflix loses its license to stream Disney films, blah, blah, blah. I know they got canceled. Talk to me about, okay, cool. Here we go. No way. Okay. So we're getting MODOK, Hitmonkey, Tigra and Dazzler, and Howard the Duck. I'm excited for 3 of the 4. Oh, that is funny. The plan apparently calls for all 4 series to cross over in a special called The Offenders. All right. That's cool. That's cool as hell. Oh my God, that is great. So Kevin Smith is going to write it for real. Oh, what does it say about will be written and executive produced by Jordan or Maddock? MODOK is going to have Patton Oswalt writing. Yeah, Kevin Smith. Holy shit. That's great. That's brilliant. So yeah, Howard the Duck, we might get a proper Howard the Duck. That is fucking great news. That is great news. I almost got a Howard the Duck tattoo. I might get one now. Nah, he belongs to Disney now. I got a problem with that. Okay, Chris Persia, just acknowledge how great the mods are. They are. I have the best mods ever. So I am truly, truly sorry, friends, to end this abruptly, but I have been informed I have to pick up Junior from school. And Junior gets out of school in 30 minutes, and it's going to take me 30 minutes to drive over there. So what I'll do is I'll just do Wednesday longer. Sorry. So thank you for all the super chats. I'm going to read those off. That'll be kind of last thing I do here. So Tim Riggs, the Hunky Junky Funky Monkey, Astaroth, Silhouetted Animator, Mr. Will Guitar, Mark C, Tamrox, Mark C, Tim Riggs, Scaro Trek, Mega Jetty 1, Jeff Taylor. That was a great question, Jeff. Tim Riggs, Neon Visual, Tamarox, Destiny Captain, Loquacious Primate, Dean Heiss, Tyler X2F01, The Big Red Bear, Rory McGee, Captain KG, Sci-Fi Geek, Tim Riggs, Astaroth, Sean Widowson, Brent Newman, JPRPH1, The Doctor 14 Blu-ray Reviews, Mark C, Tim Riggs, the King of Scotland. Oh man, how did I miss a couple? Jesus Christ, hang on. I got to read those. It's weird how this thing works. Okay, the King of Scotland, $2. What's up with the Brie Larson GoFundMe scam? And I answered that. So sorry about that. Yeah, that was too much. Tim Riggs, they only want to profit from those they see as virtuous, the virtuous dollar. If they are willing to take 70% of the cut in revenue and pay it, it'll work. There you go. Yeah, if there's some cut that goes, yeah, we'll see if some of that actually, but I heard the tickets all go to the movie though. I like Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor. Who cares? Almost as much as Peter Cushing. Thank you, Mark C. And okay, so I'm trying to see if I make sure I didn't miss any. Okay, good. Oh, Rolo Cat comes in at the last minute with £2 just to screw me up. There you go. No, it's awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Again, I'm really sorry I got to run off and get Nerdrotic Jr., but I will work on my Doctor Who video. Then maybe I can get it out on time. You guys are brilliant. You are the best chat on YouTube. Welcome to all the new subscribers. We do live streams regularly 3 times a week. So I will be back Wednesday at 11. Actually, no, that one's going to be earlier because he's got a dentist appointment. So it's going to be 10 a.m. Pacific time this Wednesday. Okay. Got to remember that. Please make a note of it. I will see you then. Again, thank you so much. And may the small folks sing songs of your greatness. Ciao.